Everyone is busy going through their daily lives. Sung-woo steps out of a crowded bus looking tired. His long bus commute is a daily grind. He often teases his friend Han-ho about it. Sung-woo completed tough military service as a Special Forces Reserve Sergeant, but now he can't even handle a 2-hour bus ride. He loves to remind Han-ho that he didn't finish his military service because of a girl. This leaves Han-ho silent as they head to class. On their way, Sung-woo feels bad about his friend's silence and asks if Han-ho is upset. Han-ho points to the sky atop the library building, claiming he saw a message in the sky saying "downloading monsters." Sung-woo assumes it's because Han-ho spends too much time playing video games. He tells Han-ho to get back to reality, and they go to their respective classes. During class, Sung-woo starts feeling dizzy and struggles to stay awake. Suddenly the lights go out, and a system message appears for everyone. It tells them to pick a class to prepare for the apocalypse. A 15-second timer begins, and skill cards with stars appear. Some students panic and warn others not to choose anything, fearing it's dangerous. Others are skeptical. Sung-woo tries to pick a warrior card with 2 stars, but Min-soo, a chubby classmate, grabs it first, summoning a sword. Panicked, Sung-woo randomly picks a card with the most stars. It turns out to be a 5-star Necromancer class, and the skill card merges with him. When the timer runs out, only Sung-woo and Min-soo have chosen cards. Min-soo is amazed by his new sword. Suddenly, a student bursts into the classroom with a goblin-like monster on his back, stabbing him relentlessly. The student pleads for help, but the goblin kills him. Everyone rushes away from the goblin, leaving Sung-woo at the front, thinking they might be next. Some students ask Min-soo to do something since he has a sword, but he's too scared and slow to react to the terrifying situation. Sung-woo also thinks that depending on Min-soo is useless, and has to find a way out of this situation on his own. The goblin plunges towards Sung-woo with this small dagger. Sung-woo thinks that he will also be done for if he gets caught up like the previous kid the goblin killed. Sung-woo kicks the goblin with all of his might, which throws the goblin back a bit. Someone will realize that the goblin barely felt like it was 30 pounds, and he can easily kill it. He picks up a chair and smashes the head of the goblin with all of his force. The goblin is defeated, and he receives 10 gold from the system for defeating the goblin. Everyone is shocked after watching this. Sung-woo is quick to adapt to the situation and realizes that the world has fused with the game. While Sung-woo is busy understanding the current situation, an assistant message pops up, which tells Sung-woo that he can command the dead under his authority. He touches the goblin skeleton option in his command list, and the dead goblin behind him reanimates as a skeleton. At this point he understands that his Necromancer class allows him to summon undead beings. 2 more goblins rush inside the classroom. Sung-woo orders his undead skeleton to kill those 2 goblins. The skeleton plunges at one goblin and stabs him in the shoulder. The stab wound is not deep enough and he gets pushed back by the goblin. Both goblins gang up on him and start chomping off his bones one by one. Sung-woo thinks that he needs to help his skeleton in getting rid of these 2 goblins. It's easy, but he needs a proper weapon, so he asks Min-soo for his sword. But Min-soo is a coward and rejects him. Sung-woo thinks he's pretty pathetic and asks him to use his sword to peel potatoes. Simon picks up another chair and throws it towards the 2 goblins who are attacking his skeleton. The goblins are knocked back a bit by the chair, and the undead skeleton seizes this chance to end them both with his knife. Sung-woo receives 20 gold for defeating both goblins. Before we continue, take a moment to answer the question of the day. What is the coolest concept for a manhwa? Comment down below for a chance to be shouted out. Now back to the recap. After the fight ended, Sung-woo received another system message that he has maxed out the number of minions under his authority. His classmates ask him about what he had done, and he has also no idea about the ongoing events. Other students think that the same thing is happening all over the campus because they can hear screaming voices of others. But when Sung-woo opens the curtains on the windows, he witnesses fires all around the city. Some students decide they need to leave the campus to survive in the corridor. More goblins start chasing them, but they are all subdued by Sung-woo's undead skeletons. While Sung-woo's skeletons are fighting the goblins, he asks the other students to run away while they hold the goblins. Sung-woo also realizes that this world is now working like a game. He can get stronger if he keeps killing goblins and grinding levels. Meanwhile, one of his undead skeletons gets defeated, and his head comes flying near him. Luckily, the goblins are exhausted, and his 2 other skeletons manage to kill them, earning him 20 gold and a level up. He is now on level 2, and has access to his status window. 5 random skill cards appear in front of him, and he can choose one as a level up gift. He chooses a card that increases his maximum number of minions by 1. He can now control up to 4 undead skeletons at once, but he has used up most of his mana because he called up so many skeletons. Sungwoo looks outside the window and it seems like the situation outside is worse than on the campus itself. While he's going downstairs with the skeletons, Hanho gets freaked out by one of his skeletons and stabs it in the head. Hanho becomes relieved after seeing Sungwoo alive. Sungwoo tells him that these skeletons are part of his skill. Someone asks which class Hanho picked, and Hanho replies that he picked the 1-star rogue class. They are both heading down the stairs with the skeletons, but suddenly a message pops up saying that they have received synergy with a dagger. It turns out that if 5 members of a party have a dagger equipped, they will receive a 10% fatal blow chance and 10 additional gold. While they are moving down the stairs with the skeletons, they encounter another pack of goblins, and there is a goblin chief among them. The goblins become affected by a skill called Scent of Death, which weakens their stats by 30%. Scent of Death activates automatically when there are 4 to 5 skeletons present in the party. The skeletons start attacking the goblins, but the goblin chief activates a skill called Wild Berserker, which buffs all the goblins under his command. The goblins have become more powerful and start pushing back the skeletons. Someone knows that they are being pushed back because of the skill of the goblin chief, so he orders one of his skeletons to cut off the arm of the goblin chief, which he's using for the Berserker skill. The skeleton manages to chop off the arm of the chief, which weakens the goblins, and the skeletons finish them off with ease. The goblin chief is enraged, but he is easily killed by the skeletons working in synergy. Sungwoo receives a one-handed crude spear as a bracelet from the goblin chief, which he was using for the Berserker skill. He becomes a bit happy and praises one of his skeletons, who starts making weird, creepy noises with his bones. When they reach the entrance of the campus, they see a lot of survivors. Someone orders his skeletons to hide in the copy room because people will freak out after watching them. The situation at the entrance doesn't feel good. They are locked inside the campus, and they can't go out. While Sungwoo tries to head outside using the main door, he is stopped by one of the student council members, Jin-sok, who was previously famous for being a bully and a harasser. He tells them that he is a shield master with 2 stars, and he already killed one of the goblins. He further elaborates that everyone with a weapon should work together to defend the other students. Minsu comes running towards Jin-seok and reports that he heard faint sounds of goblins near the entrance. Jin-seok orders the students to get inside the cafe so he and the other guys with skills can protect them. Someone tells Han-ho to come near the entrance of the gate. They see a message on the entrance that the entrance door has been sealed by a magical force, and they need to defeat the boss monster within 2 hours and 11 minutes. If they fail to defeat the monster within the given time frame, the monsters inside the building will grow even stronger. Now Sungwoo knows what he needs to do next, but he is stopped by Jin-seok, who wants them to hold the monsters in there until backup arrives. Sungwoo tells Jin-seok that the same thing can be happening around the whole country, and waiting for a rescue team is useless, but Jin-seok refutes by saying that the Korean military is stronger than the monsters. Sungwoo has enough of this and starts heading towards the stairs, but he is stopped by an approaching group of 5 goblins. Someone orders his skeletons to come out. After watching the skeletons, everyone freaks out because they think skeletons are part of the monsters, but someone tells them that they don't need to be scared because they belong to his class, which is stronger than the idiot Jin-seok. Goblins get scared by the death and skill of the skeletons, and it reduces their stats by 30%. Xiongwoo orders his goblins to start the hunt. Skeletons start attacking the goblins, and Sungwoo helps them using his spear. 2 goblins try to run, but someone orders the skeletons to block their way. Sungwoo is fighting himself because he wants to show the others that defeating them is not impossible, so he can persuade them to join him in boss hunting. When a goblin is killed by a skeleton while the other one tries to run away, Sungwoo throws his spear, which pierces the back of the goblin. Everyone is overjoyed by watching the fight. Someone received a roulette ticket by the system for killing 20 monsters, and he's the 34th person to complete this achievement. His rank will be increased to infinite status, and there are only 100 people who are eligible for this ticket. He praises his skeletons for their work, and they again start making that weird voice with their bones. Someone who heads inside the cafe and tells everyone that no backup is arriving and they will be killed by stronger monsters if they cannot find and kill the boss monster within the given time period. One of the students tells Sungwoo that he saw the boss monster on the rooftop and it killed his professor. Now he knows his next destination, but no one comes forward to join his party. Even his friend Han-ho wants to stay behind, but he forces him to come with him because he needs the knife buff for his skeletons. A 23-year-old girl, Jisoo Yoon, comes forward. She has a 3-star class called Tiger Hunter. Sungwoo asks Jinsok to come up with them, but he's a coward, so he makes an excuse that he needs to stay behind to defend the other students. Jinsok and his party start heading towards the rooftop. They encounter some goblins on the stairs. What will happen next? Find out next time by staying tuned for our future recaps. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more great recaps.